Hello, friends. My name is Brad Beard. I am the owner and winemaker for Mercury Wine, located in downtown Geyserville, the heart of Alexander Valley, California. And today I'll be talking about one of my fantastic wines. It happens to be my 2017 Rocket. It is a Bordeaux style blend. Um, but we're also going to be talking about Bordeaux. What is it? What are the grapes of Bordeaux? What does it mean, Bordeaux style? We're also going to be talking about what inspires me to make this wine and what grapes are grown in these regions. But before we get started with that, the Rocket is a blend of 45% Cabernet. So I would call this a left bank Bordeaux. We're going to be getting onto that. 30% Cabernet Franc, 15% Malbec, 10% each of Petit Verdot and Merlot. That is not a classic blend by any means, and if you know me, I make blends that can be considered classic, but this one to me is just more about the inspiration of Bordeaux and what it means to me. So let's get started talking about Bordeaux. It is a region. It is a region within France. One of the probably more well-known regions around the world. Bordeaux is a pretty special place. Grows lots of great grapes, but it is a region that's separated by two different rivers. So let's talk about the river that's a little bit farther to the north. So the first river is the Dordogne. And if you're sailing the Dordogne downstream, headed to the ocean, you would have a left bank and you would have a right bank. And the right bank is what we talk about when we're talking about right bank Bordeaux. Um, the right bank's predominant city, because most of the most prestigious grape growing houses are around the city of Le Bon. And the dominant grape that they grow there and the dominant style or the dominant grape of their blends are Merlot. So you've got houses like Petrus and such like that. Merlot will be dominant. It will be at least 70, 80, 90%. Most go between 85 and 90% Merlot. And then your background blenders for that will be Cabernet, Cabernet Franc, Malbec, and Petit Verdot. So when I talk about, or when anybody talks about left bank Bordeaux blends, you should be talking about a blend that is mainly Merlot. Most likely, since it's mainly Merlot, it's going to be a little bit softer, a little silkier, more approachable style of wine. But in general, left bank Bordeaux means you're talking about a blend of grapes with predominant grape being Merlot. So our second river is the Gargonne, and that river, if you're sailing, I wish I had a map. I don't right now. So these two rivers do end up merging a little bit later, but as the Gargonne is going along, you're going to have a right and left bank. It will merge with the other river, but we're going to go ahead and consider everything on the left bank of the Gargonne to be the wine we're going to be talking about now. And it's a much longer growing region and has a lot more appellations. We are not going to be talking much about the southern half, which is the Graves region. It does have red grapes grown down there, but it's definitely much more in the Sauterne, sweet white, and white grape growing region. We're going to be talking about the Medoc and specifically the upper Medoc along the left bank of that river because it's all predominantly red grapes up there. This is a red grape blend. And we'll be definitely talking about the left bank because the left bank is mainly known for Cabernet-based blends. So over there, it'll be 75, 85, 95% Cabernet. Then with little splashes of Merlot, Petit Verdot, Cabernet Franc, and Malbec. So since this does have a predominant Cabernet Franc base in the blend, I would consider this a left bank style Bordeaux, but more inspired by Bordeaux because it has a much lower percentage of Cabernet for the base. So that's what I mean when I'm talking about style. Style is using the same grapes from Pacific region. If it's a Grenache Vedra style, I'm talking about grapes grown in the Rhone. And if we're talking about a Bordeaux style, we're talking about Cabernet Franc, Merlot, Petit Verdot, and Malbec. And since I'm now talking about the left bank, I'm talking about it's going to be a dominant Cabernet. So there's just little um, tidbits of information to help you navigate all of the crazy jargon and slang and specific terms that we use for wine and winemaking and talking about wine in general. Um, but let's start talking about the wine that we're here for today. So, like I said, this is my rocket-based blend. It's my Bordeaux-inspired wine. And so when I think of Bordeaux, and especially when I'm thinking about Bordeaux in general, I'm thinking about wines that do have some good weight, that are richer and fuller bodied, but we're usually talking about wines that have some really nice age on them so that they develop some subtlety and nuance and some elegance to them. And so that's why I created this wine called the Rocket. Um, the aging of this wine is how I can achieve what I would consider my Bordeaux style, along with the grapes that are in there. So this wine will be aged a minimum of 3 years, mainly in the barrel, a minimum of 2.5 years, but I can go a little closer to 3. But I won't release this wine until it has at least 3 years of age. That extended aging process allows those tannins and acids to become a little more gentle, and that reminds me of a more gentle or classic style Bordeaux. So I did open this wine bottle about a hour and a half or so ago as I was writing down my notes and thinking about the wine. And so I've got some notes from when I first opened it, and then I'll also talk about the notes that I'm getting right now. So let's just see what's happening. So first, I don't have a white sheet in front of me. Typically, you do that, but I know what this color is. It's a medium ruby, so it's got a nice clear medium ruby, not too dark, not too light in color. On the nose, I'm getting just uh, a real wonderful cherry, very cherry driven, hints of vanilla, hints of a little bit of spice, uh, cassis, and maybe a little bit of plum. I think I had a more cherry driven nose right when it was opened up. I can't see much anymore close. My initial impressions of this wine when it was opened up an hour and a half ago, is it was more of a dusty ripe cherry, hints of currant and cassis, and a bit of vanilla on the finish. I'm getting the vanilla blended with the cherry up front now. Still getting the cassis and currant, not as much currant, but a nice bit of spiciness on the nose. Let's see if that translates to the palate. All of those things absolutely translate to the palate. And honestly, I just got to go back. And the reason why I'm doing this, where I've taken notes earlier, is wines develop. So if you open this wine up and you perceive it as being a little tight and a little not as integrated as you like, just give it a little bit of time, toss it into the decanter. But this one's really developing quite nicely. Within an hour, it's nice. An hour in the bottle is, gosh, 10 minutes in the glass. More evaporation, more exciting things going on. I'm just getting a wonderful, elegant cherry that has a group of friends that are kind of supporting along the way. Some beautiful plum, some nice dark cherries going along there as well. The cassis is just, running along, kind of like the backbone, giving me a little bit of structure in this wine. Not noticing any tannins. Typically, I'll start, you'll notice super aggressive tannins up front, but usually if the wine's got some age to it, the tannins will start maybe around the mid palate. So the tannins and acid have a really nice balance and not really aggressive to me. Only on the way back finish, I'm getting a little bit of bite on those tannins, um, which, if you like a wine that doesn't have any at all, another year or two in the bottle will take care of this, or probably an hour of. So really, when I get my nose in there and I start tasting this wine, it just really screams balance and structure and elegance to me, and that's really what I was going for. That's what I was inspired to make. Um, by giving my grapes European yeast when I'm fermenting them, which is a softer, gentler yeast. It's not an aggressive yeast. By pressing this wine light, so I'm not getting extra tannins out of the macerated skins. I've built this wine to have a more subtle and nuanced or elegant mouthfeel and flavor profile, and that's what I'm getting right now. Mm. Just a delicious wine from front to back. You can obviously enjoy this wine on its own, but since I'm very sensitive to the tannins and the acids, right now I'm craving a little bit of cheese. This wine is really nice with your mid-bodied cheeses, not too funky and not overly fatty style cheeses. So maybe not a quadruple cream brie, but anything above that would be fine. It can even work with your tartar cheeses like your goat. Um, for me, if it was going to be a red meat, I would think about a nice lean cut of a New York strip, although those have been getting fattier and fattier, but definitely a filet mignon or something like that. But now I'm not going to do a pan sauce with a heavy cream and wine glaze on this. I would just grill that. And if I was going to pan sear it, I wouldn't finish it with butter or anything like that, because you don't need a lot of fats, because this doesn't have a high presence of acid and tannin. Easily you could do, or you could go with a really lean piece of meat like pork or fish. If you gave that some nice blackening spice, or at least a heavy spicing, toss it on the grill, that would be nice with this wine as well. Mm. Well, there it is. There's my 2017 rocket. At this time in early January, we're running a little low on this. We'll be taking this. We did already take it off the tasting menu, but we have a few cases left behind, so that you can order that. So if you would like, there's also we reserved a little bit of the 2015, and there might be a bottle left of the 2013. But a really wonderful wine. We've been making this since 2005. And all of these have been aging just absolutely fantastically. And I don't suspect this one. I expect this one will do the same. All right, my friends. There's my impressions of my 2017 rocket. I hope you enjoy. Thanks.